Britain's former Prince Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The King's brother, who turned 66 today, is in custody after officers carried out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. Thames Valley Police have been investigating a complaint over the alleged sharing of confidential material by the former Prince with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. In a statement, King Charles said he learned with the deepest concern the news about his brother, adding that the law must take its course.
This is the first time in modern history that a senior member of the British royal family has been arrested. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, was taken into police custody this morning after officers in unmarked cars attended his property in Sandringham Estate in Norfolk. Thames Valley Police Force had earlier said it was assessing reports that the former Prince sent sensitive trade reports to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in 2010. Then, this morning, this significant update. In a statement, the police said, "We have today arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office and are carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. The man remains in police custody at this time." Previously known as Prince Andrew, the King's younger brother had been stripped of his titles last October amid the continuing controversy over his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and the claims that he had sex with one of the disgraced financier's trafficking victims, Virginia Giuffre. Today, in a statement, King Charles said, "I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor," adding, "The law must take its course." Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has previously denied any wrongdoing and said he regrets his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. The former Prince, who turns 66 today, remains in police custody this lunchtime. Kate Farley, RTE News.
Well, for more on this, we're joined from London now by journalist and broadcaster Vincent McAviney. So a dramatic development in this story. What more can you tell us about the arrest, where the former Prince is being held, how long he can be held for?
Yeah, very dramatic morning. This is, people are saying, the biggest crisis for the modern royal family since the abdication crisis. And what we understand now is that no members of the royal family were aware in advance that this arrest would be taking place. Thames Valley Police, who are looking at this specific issue to do with misconduct in public office, were saying as recently as yesterday that they were considering whether an investigation was needed. They were reviewing materials. Well, they were well down the planning phase because they swooped in this morning on that property on the Sandringham Estate in Norfolk at 8 a.m. Multiple vehicles surrounded the property to prevent him potentially leaving by a back door. And he was arrested, we think, at around 8 a.m. And half an hour later was driven to a police station where we believe he's being held in a cell and awaiting questioning. Simultaneously, police went on to the Windsor estate and have began searches there as well of the property he lived in for some 20 years, Royal Lodge, which he was recently evicted from. So there is a lot of police activity happening. As you've mentioned, we've had a statement from the King. And in the past 5 minutes, we've also had a statement from the Prince and Princess of Wales, that's William and Kate, saying that they fully support the position that the King is taking on this. They are all having to react very quickly because, as I said, they were not told in advance of this arrest.
Now, these allegations have been hanging over the former Prince for many years now, but it's clear he's not getting any special treatment.
He is not getting any special treatment. He is being treated as an ordinary citizen. You are in a slightly surreal situation here where he's being arrested by His Majesty's police force. He might be prosecuted by, His Majesty's Crown Prosecution Service. And if he were to be convicted, he would be staying at His Majesty's pleasure as well. This is highly unusual. The royal family, some are saying that, Charles might be rewarded by the public for having acted quickly, having taken him away from frontline royal life, having stripped him of the titles. But at the same time, the wider damage to the institution, both here in the UK and internationally, could be immense.
Vincent McAviney in London, thank you for joining us on the 1 o'clock news. Well, now let's talk to Dan Snow, who's host of the History Hit podcast and who's standing by for us now. So, Dan, as we heard, the first time in modern history that a senior member of the British royal family has been arrested. What is the significance of this now and how is it impacting the British public?
Well, this is significant. A lot of the times people say things that are unprecedented when they're usually quite precedented. Things have happened before. This hasn't really happened before, and certainly in the modern royal family. I think the last son of a monarch to be arrested, so Andrew is the son of Elizabeth, so I think the last son of a monarch to be arrested was probably the Duke of Monmouth in the 1680s, and he rebelled against his uncle, fought a battle and lost and was captured. So this just doesn't happen. I mean, despite trying their hardest, those Georgian little brothers managed to stay out of prison. And I think that it is just a reflection of that we live in a different world now. You can't draw this veil over this family who have this sort of semi-divine right to go about their affairs in secret. So I think it just shows. I think it shows that Britain is modernising. I think it shows that the world's a very different place, and it also shows how difficult it is to maintain this sort of idea of this family that floats somehow above everybody else in a world where you're reading each other's emails.
And of course, the relationship with the British public and the royal family has changed significantly over the past years. This is going to change it further.
I think so. I think it may, for some people, be a time you think, look, people may decide, I was on the fence, but now I just think this isn't really a sustainable system. It is possible, as your former interview said, that it's possible that there's a sort of wave of affection for King Charles. He did the best he could, maybe. I mean, I just think it's just chipping away at this very medieval idea of what it is to have this one family who go on ruling by hereditary succession. I think it's a tough one.
Dan Snow of the History Hit podcast, thank you for joining us.